Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. So today, I'm back on the KRX. Yep, I've pushed the Jeep out of the garage and I'm gonna do some work on the KRX. Now, what could the KRX need? Because it's such an awesome machine. Well, it needs a little TLC, a little maintenance. So why does it need it? Well, I got kind of a short notice invite to go back out to Moab with a group of friends, and I took it. So what does short notice sound like? Well, 3 weeks. That's right, 3 weeks. And by the time I ordered the parts I need, I'm down to 2 weeks. By the time I have time to do it, well, I got 10 days until I leave. So I got some time, but definitely want to make sure it's good, up and running before I go. So if you've never been out to Moab, I highly recommend it. You can rent side-by-sides, you can take tours, you can do Jeep tours, and there's more than just four-wheeling out there. You got the LaSalle Mountains, all kinds of just beautiful places where you can go hiking, off-roading. I think you can even do some kayaking or something, I don't know. Anyways, back to KRX. So what needs to be done on KRX? Well, honestly, I haven't done much with it since my last Moab trip last October. I've really been concentrating on the Jeep, but I did fix all the issues that we had with it when I got back. So just a little recap on that. I did replace the carrier bearing on it. The clutch weights were completely shot, grooved out. So I do have the new JBS clutch weights in there with no spring, and I'll touch on that here in just minutes. And then I went ahead and I fixed the leaky front differential. Now that was my fault when I put the Turner input stub shaft in there, or output stub shaft, whatever it is. I had pinched the seal. So I did change the front differential fluid, and I have changed the rear differential fluid. What I have not changed is the engine oil. So I went ahead, got everything out here on the table of what we're gonna need. I still have to put the clutch cover back on from when I put the JBS weights on there. Here is the primary spring and the tool to put that back on. I'm actually gonna take this with me to Moab in case I don't like it. I did go ahead and order a set of brake pads. I have 1,400 miles on this machine. I will check the brakes. I don't think I'm gonna need these, but I'd rather have them than not need them. I got the oil filter. I got some other parts that we're gonna look at. And then I have a couple air filters. Now, air filters, very important for Moab due to the dusty conditions. And one thing we learned in Moab was you got to knock your air filter out every day, or better yet, I'm gonna show you a trick on how to clean them if you have the correct tool. I went ahead and I ordered 2 air filters for this trip. I ordered an OEM one, and then I ordered an all balls from Rocky Mountain ATV. Now, one says made in China, one says made in the USA. I'm obviously gonna run the OEM Kawasaki one as the primary, and then my backup will be the other one. There is a significant price difference though. The OEM one is like 60-something bucks. The all balls is like $25, $26. Now I know some people will run the Napa brand. They'll run, there's a Baldwin filter that cross-references, and there's even a Donaldson filter. But I did grab the little scale that I use to measure the weights, just to show you the difference in weight between the OEM one and the alls balls before I install it, and then I'm going to show you how to clean it. Let's jump into this and let me show you the weight differences and some surprising things I found when I was looking up this. So, new Kawasaki filter. It says Kawasaki right there upside down. New all balls filter here. It says made in China on it. Looks very similar right there. 2 used genuine Kawasaki filters. I have the one that came with the machine, and then the one, the backup I took to Moab. So let's take, these are dirty. I have not blown them out. Let's see, 429 grams. $450 grams. This is the one I just pulled out of the machine. So let's look at the clean OEM one. So something's changed in the manufacturing process because I'm at 482. And then let's look at the all balls, 477. So the all balls is within 5 grams of the Kawasaki OEM one. Now, before you yell, and I see in the comments, you got to count the pleats, got to count the pleats. I'm not going to count the pleats. I know there's over 150 pleats, I think, in an OEM one, and I don't care. I'm gonna run the OEM one, so I'll leave it at that. But what I find interesting is the 2 dirty filters were 50 grams less, 30 grams less than their brand new OEM one. Now, why is that? Is that they're putting more rubber on the ends? Are they adding more pleats because they found out that there was engine failures and they needed better filtration? What is it? I don't know. They all look the same to me, except for the all balls. It's just labeled a little bit differently. So there you go. And the box is made in China. So let's go ahead. Let's get the Kawasaki one installed. We'll get this thing warmed up, oil change, check the brakes, and get this ready for Moab here in a couple of weeks. Like I said, I have only put maybe 50 miles, and that's being pretty generous with the JBS clutch weights. So I will be taking the primary spring, like I said, and we'll see if I need that extra power or not. So let's go ahead and get this air filter installed. So those not familiar, if you come over to your driver's side, you just pop the covers off. The air filter will go right in here in the seats. And then we'll go ahead and we're going to close this up. One clip and two. Then we're going to just drop that on like that and do my half turns. And then just lower the seats and let it clip in. Air filter's done. So those wondering, how do I clean these filters on the trail? Well, if you're on the trail, honestly, you can just tap it out. What I like to do is just take my Milwaukee blower and blow them out, and I'll show you what I mean. So here's the big boy blower. I also have a small one, but these fit almost perfect on there. And then I just blow them out, and it gets a majority of the dirt particles and what out. And that way, I'm not just throwing away filters every day, because that gets really expensive, especially with fuel prices the way they are. So I'll blow it out and then put it back in. You can get quite a bit out just by tapping it on the ground, but this just does a burst of air to go the opposite way. So you know, as the air gets sucked in this way, I'm blowing it back out. So I don't know if it's good or bad for it, but that's what I do. And this Milwaukee blower comes in handy again. So let's go ahead and get the KRX started up and get this oil changed. All right, engine's warmed up. Now it's time to change oil. Again, I'm not doing the front differential because that oil has less than 50 miles on it. Same with the rear. All I'm gonna need is a 17 millimeter. So I will go ahead, come down here, and I'm going to not burn myself and take this safety clip I installed off. This will just help the oil drain a little bit faster. Set aside, get a 17 millimeter. Get it on there and try not to make a mess. Mind you, that oil only has around 700 miles on it. Doesn't look too bad. So while the oil is draining, I'm going to come up here and remove this filter. I don't think Kawasaki could have done a worse spot. I already broke it loose. There we go. And it's still dripping a little bit. So let's go ahead and get the new filter on. Alright, get the new filter here. Here's your part number if you're interested. And we'll just kiss the seal. Nice and wet. Now I did wipe down the mating surface, make sure there's no debris, anything around it. And I'll just get that wrench and do another quarter turn. I got the old crush washer off. You can see the groove in there. New crush washer on. Let's get this put back in. Now, for those of you wondering, I ordered the oil change kit from Kawasaki on Amazon, or I thought I did. That's what was titled, and that's not what I got. I did get the 4 quarts of oil. I got the oil filter. I got the crush washer, and I got a paper filter, but they didn't send the gloves. I don't really care. It was CycleMax who did it, but these paper filters are pretty nice. So to add the oil, just pour it in. Now the KRX takes 3.3 quarts of oil if you're doing a oil and filter change. And for those wondering, why am I changing oil at only 700 miles? Well, Moab's a pretty tough place. Not saying other places aren't, but these engines run high RPM. I mean, cruising down the road, you're at 5,000 RPM. you get up to 9,000. Some people even have them tuned to 10,000, but most car engines don't run that high constantly. Yeah, yes, they can rev out, but they're not living at 4 and 5 and 6,000 RPM. And I just don't like my stuff breaking, honestly. So gonna go ahead, like I said, change the oil. I've already got drained, I can put it in. I'll check the front and rear diffs, and then we're gonna move over to verifying that the clutch is back together right and put the clutch cover on. And then one more part we're gonna install while checking the brakes. So let's get this oil added. So as you can see, the sight glass is completely empty. The oil has stopped draining. So we'll go ahead and we will put the filter in there. Let's kind of hold it up. Pour the first 3 quarts real fast. And then that last quart we'll have to measure out. Remember, it's always easier to top it off than take it out. Now my sight glass does show over full, but remember your oil filter is not primed. Go ahead, put this back on, and we'll just start it up for a few minutes, check for leaks, and then we'll verify our oil level. The nice thing with the Kawasaki is, again, you got this line here and the line there. I don't know if the camera's showing it. As long as when the engine's off on a level surface, if your oil's in between, you're good to go. Now I like to keep it towards this higher line here, just because of some of the inclines I like to do with rock crawling and playing out like that, just so we don't get any starvation. So let's start her up. All right, so I'll let it run for just about 90 seconds or so, and it's been sitting for about 4 or 5. If you look, I am right there at the halfway point. I could add some more, but I'll just leave it as it is. I'll get that nice and tight. Put my safety clip back in, just like that. And for those wondering, here is the mark. So I'm right above the 500 or below the 20. That's how much oil I put in. So moving over to the driver's side, all is well over here with the clutch. We just need to put the clutch cover back on to help keep some dirt out. Like I said, I've been running it this way with the new JBS weights in there. Probably have anywhere from 20 to 50 miles on them. I do like them currently, but not having the primary spring in there, I don't know. So we'll do a really good test when we get out to Moab. So putting this on, you just need your 10 millimeter, and make sure you put some anti-seize or something so you don't over torque this. And the hardest part of this whole thing is just feeding the clutch cover in. All right, so getting the clutch cover in is always the most fun part. You gotta do it with your machine on the ground so that the suspension spreads out just a little bit, going through the front, just like that. Now there is a seal back here. Make sure your seal is in there. Go ahead and hand start all your bolts. Now on all mine, I do have a little bit of anti-seize because they like to get stuck in here and then they break off. I actually have one broken one up here where this started twisting the back out, even with anti-seize. So we'll just get these. We're getting close to getting done. One of the last few things I need to do to the KRX is I need to check the brake pads, which I will do off camera. I don't think they need to be done, but I will double check, and then check the air pressure on the tires. Now last time I was there, I think I was running around 6 PSI, but honestly, I'm gonna go back to an old video and I'm going to look. I started off with 14, dropped it down to 10. I think I ended up at 6, but I will go ahead and take a little air compressor with me. I actually have it in my Milwaukee pack-out boxes. Now the spare tire will travel here as I go up there, but I will not take it on the trail with me because, well, this makes it too top heavy. But I will keep my little cooler and then my 2 toolboxes. Now, Milwaukee pack-out, let's talk about that real quick. I was not informed on it until I got this set up here, and I really, really liked it. Now the plate here is from Pro Steel. I know there's other brands out there, but I got the heavy duty plate, and these things did not move at all. I like that I can take it in and out, especially if you're staying in like a motel or something, or in a hotel with an open trailer. You can take all your tools from here, lock them in your vehicle, and then the next morning go ahead and put it back in here. The coolers are pretty good. I would say they're not like, you know, the high-end brands, the Rotomoto coolers, but it's a good day trip cooler. So last time I was there, I put 4 or 5 frozen water bottles in it, and then I put all of my other beverages with some ice on top, and they lasted around 12-14 hours, honestly, but it gets hot. So they're not the best insulated, but they do work well. Now, speaking of that, there's another product that I was going to try, but I'm not going to get to install before this trip, and it's just because of the setup I'm going to have. So there's another product out there right here that makes pack outs, mounts for these smaller cases. So they would just sit up like this, and this would just clip in. Now, these are off of ordw.net, and let me show you where they go. If you were to install them, it's going to go on these 4 screws right here. Fairly easy install like that. So I'm not going to install those today. I just don't have time today, but probably in the future. Now the nice thing with those and these little pack outs, believe it or not, these are pretty versatile. So you could put just a small toolkit, because honestly, I probably carry more stuff than I need. You're not going to be changing ball joints on the trail, any of that stuff. The only tools I really carry, and my compressors in there, is to change like a tie rod, patch kits, just small stuff like that, some odds and ends, wrenches, and sockets. Now these little pack outs, they're not going to hold everything, but you could put some foam in them to put a small impact gun, to change your spare tire, first aid kits, keep your spare belt, and the tool to change your spare belt, all that stuff in these small pack outs. I think this one was like 30 bucks, something like that. And they're pretty nice, and again, you can put them from vehicle to vehicle. Now, one thing I am going to install from the same place is this right here. So this is supposed to eliminate the vibration in the grab bar. Let me show you. I've got the glove box already open, and if you look right there, and now I know I've said in the past there's a screw right down here to hold it in, so I'm going to pull that screw out because that is tight. You can see I do tighten it down, and we'll pop this in real quick. First thing I'll do is take the screw out, Phillips head screwdriver. There, pull my pin, pull the bar out. Now I gotta be a little careful because I have the radio there. If you look, factory piece is in 2 pieces. So there you go. It's your factory piece. New piece is significantly bigger. Now I'm going to assume, there's no instructions, this part goes down for that pin to slide. So we'll go ahead, see if we got the little initials in there. Go ahead and slide this in first. Definitely no slop in that. Slide this in, pull my pin down. Now with the screw in, there is no play. Let's loosen the screw. You can see there's a little bit of play with the screw loose, but if you got the screw tight like you're supposed to, it cleans up all that slop. So that is a good old thumbs up. There's today's video. All is done. I did quite a bit more than I thought I was going to do, and I got to wrap it up for other stuff going on. But I did check the brakes. The camera ended up overheating because of the heat. So I did check the brakes. All the brakes were good. Tires are good. The front tires are at 10-30 seconds. The rear tires are at 14-30 seconds. So they're rotated from the last time. The front and rear differential fluid is both to the appropriate level. We changed oil filter, cleaned up the mess from the oil filter, obviously. I put the clutch cover back on after I checked all the torque on the bolts inside the clutch when I put the new JBS weights on there. Went ahead, installed the grab bar little spacer there. Like I said, with that screw in there, it's not moving anywhere. I will get to changing and installing these pieces at the back of the seats in a future video. And just overall did a once over on the KRX because I got like 10 days and then off to Moab I go. So next video, don't worry, the Jeep will be back if you're following that build. Right here is all the parts for the transfer case. I got the mile marker, hubs, new chain, the mile marker 2-wheel drive kit, all the new gaskets and seals, and then a new vacuum actuator. These are the brake lines that did come in, and some Permatex to help make some gaskets. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I am super excited going to Moab. So I just got to do a quick shakedown drive around the neighborhood, make sure everything's good. Double check the torque on the lug nuts, because always double check it after you drive it around. You're supposed to go 50 miles or so, but in the side-by-side I'm just not going to do it. And then off to Moab I go. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and until next time.